Hello there, my name is Anthony Barocas for Stream Tech Conversations. Today, I have a great conversation with the tall boy himself, Corey Sanders, about streaming and how each of us got into streaming, how we do it, and what keeps us going, the motivation to do live streaming. Stay tuned. Corey Sanders, thank you very much for joining me today. Tell me a little bit about how you got started in streaming.
How did I get started in streaming? All right, Anthony, before we get started, man, you got to call me TallBoy. Nobody calls me by my government. It's TB or TallBoy. Like, come on now. We do things real big over here.
Okay, and for those who don't know, I've seen the marketing photos. How tall? You're 7 something? Because the photos make you look like super tall.
And insert my photos here, right? I am 7 feet tall. How did I get into live streaming? It's funny because I don't remember what year it was, but the Super Bowl was in New Orleans, 2012, 2013, forgot what year it was. And a friend of mine was working for the Boys and Girls Club, and we both played college basketball at the University of New Orleans. Shout out to Smitty. He knows who he is. He said, hey, I can get you on the field for the Celebrity Sweat flag football game. And I'm like, I'm coming to New Orleans and I'm just trying to get as much content as I can. And I heard about this software called Ustream. And I was like, let me just check it out. And next thing you know, I don't even know how I did it, but I was streaming live on the football field. Like I was in the stands, but my teammate from college says, I can get you on the field. So I'm literally in the stands. And the next thing you know, I find out that I'm streaming live, and I'm just in amazement, in awe, like, yo, I'm live. I can't believe this. Like, I'm live. Like, and you got to remember, this is way before the YouTube is what YouTube is today, right? And here I am interviewing Doug Flutie. I'm interviewing a lot of the people, Plaxico Burress, and some other people's names that I should know right now off the top of my head. I cannot think of their names. But I'm literally interviewing them on my camera, my professional camera that I had, on top of, I have a laptop like this, right? And I'm saying, we're live on the internet. And I'm like, hey. So that was how we got started with Ustream. And I always told myself that this is something that I wanted to do. It really wasn't popular, like I said, in 2011, 2012, 2013, all the way to can I curse? 2015. It wasn't live, right? And it wasn't popular. And unfortunately, I've done a lot of red carpets where I'm like, hey, I need to have a third person to come on the red carpet with me because I'm going to be streaming live on this service. And they were like, we never heard of this before. And okay, well, we kind of know your work. And then, like I said, I just like to start streaming live with different services. I don't know if you remember the popular one, Hang With. And that was neither here nor there. So basically, that's how I got started.
Wow, that going back to Ustream goes back a little ways, that's for sure. And definitely streaming in that era was not, because these days everybody does it from their phone onto Instagram and to Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and whatever. And it's just very commonplace. But people today don't realize that back then, those weren't things. And like to be streaming was a lot harder. And so not everybody did it as casually, I should say. It really took a bit of dedication and a bit of purpose to be able to do that. And I don't imagine you. I'm trying to imagine you juggling the camera and a laptop at the same time.
This is why I needed a third person, right? So here I am trying to do interviews because that's what people knew me for. And then on top of that, you have someone that's holding the camera, but now you have to have a second person come and you're at these red carpet, you're at these influencer, political, red carpet, grand openings, you name it. You're at these popular events and you're saying, instead of a +2 or a +1, now you need a +2. And it's like, how do you justify this +2 as opposed to a +1?
Yeah, and I even today though, I mean, interestingly today, because streaming is so easy, it's almost possibly even harder to justify additional crew when they're like, well, what do you need 3 people for when I can do it from my phone? I'm like, it's not the same thing. It's not going to look as good as if you do it waving your phone around versus using a nice camera, having a person doing the interviews and another person operating the camera and then someone else managing the stream. It adds up.
Right.
I mean, I remember seeing a video that somebody posted. Mary Kay Cosmetics did like an annual event and they did it to Zoom. And, you know, you have people contact you all the time and they sit there and say, oh, we want to do a live stream to Zoom. How much does that cost? And this person walked around the backstage, the production department, and there must have been 50 to 100 people working on this event and custom built stages and Zoom farms and all of this stuff. And I'm like, this was not cheap. And when somebody asks me, well, I just want to go to Zoom, how much could that cost? It's like, it's not the fact that you're using Zoom that costs. It's the production value that you bring to it that costs.
Correct. For me, you know, my thing is, your audience is who? Before I say what I'm about to say, who is this audience?
The audience, I think the audience of Stream Tech is basically those new to streaming, those who are interested in streaming, who are thinking about it, maybe dabbling in it, want to learn a few things and meet other people who are in there. So I do a lot of stuff. I create a lot of content on Stream Tech, and I created the Conversations series so they could hear other people,
okay.
To give other people a voice on the channel.
So with that being said, let's break it down. So if you've never heard of this before, you heard it from TallBoy, and make sure you say TallBoy and Anthony gave you live streaming 101. All right. There's 4 levels of live streaming, right? And if you don't know, number 1, we can always go live. Always go live on our phone. I'm over here hitting buttons. You should see my studio right now. So you can always go live on your phone, right? That's Facebook, that's Instagram, TikTok, whatever. There's no overlays. There's no anything. That's live streaming 101. And that's what most people are primarily comfortable with. Number 2, you have browser-based software, which is StreamYard, Zoom, Restream, and some other softwares that will allow you to go live stream with those softwares. The difference with those it's kind of like how Facebook is, right? You can't change the colors. You can't change, I want it to be pink, I want it to be red, I want it to be green. Whatever the look is the look, and you have to work within those parameters. You cannot move around and do what you want to do, right? So you have to upload your camera, and that's just what it is. The third level,
even the layouts, you're kind of fixed. Like this is this layout, this is layout. Well, I want to have a little bit of border around it. I want to have a custom thing. You got to do workarounds to do all of that. Mm-hmm. It's not built for customization, so to speak.
And correct. And your third level is software based. So software, you can always go to free 99 with OBS, right? But the professionals, the big boys, we go, if you're PC based, you go with vMix. That is the industry standard. Shout out to Tim and Martin all the way in Australia. Do your research on the vMix family. They have created a solid package that I was kind of skeptical of when I first met them. But when the pandemic hit, I said, you know what? If there was ever a time, this is the time to go. And they allow you to customize live streaming the way you want to live stream. So, for example, and I'm just playing with stuff here, I could literally do this. And I can switch the camera too, because I have 2 cameras, right? So I'm over on this camera here instead of that camera right there. So you can customize. Now, because we're inside of Anthony's software or inside of Anthony's studio, I can't move around the way I want to move it around. But if you were in vMix, you can resize the overlays, you can resize the camera positioning. You're not just going into the boxes where the browser base says you have to go. So that's the beautiful
vMix,
thing of vMix.
I tell people vMix is like word processing. When you open it, it's a blank document, and you build what you want to build. But the beauty is you can build anything you want to build. The downside is you got to build it.
That's correct. Can I play a sound effect?
Sure.
Fro. So the fourth level of live streaming is software based, but you have to use, or you don't have to, but you either use something called X keys. You got to have a Stream Deck. So Stream Deck is, what do you call these buttons? I don't know. Stream Deck should be mad at me because I should know these triggers. You press this button, and if this, then that. If you press this button, then this will happen. So right now I have it set up to where if I do this, then you get a chance to see that, right? Or if I go back this way, you get to see. So I have set up triggers to do certain things inside of my software. So I press the button, and then I'll have a surprise later on. I didn't want to put the surprise on now, but that is your fourth way. So you have a Stream Deck, and when you get the Stream Deck, you press the buttons, and it makes your live streaming a little bit more simplified, if that makes sense. So those are your four levels: phone, browser-based, software, and then software with a Stream Deck. So that's for the ones, if you never knew that, here you go.
There's a higher level, which I've worked on, which is like I've worked on a production truck that is doing a broadcast and handing it off to a station. But at the same time, they're going to put it on a Facebook feed. You know, so it's like the actual production is broadcast level, broadcast gear, broadcast cameras, broadcast fiber and communication systems. And there's a whole separate truck just for mixing the audio and lighting crews and all of that stuff. And then they run it into an encoder and put it on the Facebook page of the company that's sponsoring the event. So, yeah, you know, streaming and broadcast at that point kind of just blend together in that streaming is just another way of viewing the broadcast.
Right,
you know, but that's the level at which the production value is. It's like they've got a whole truck full of people. You know, somebody's on replay, somebody's switching the thing, somebody's calling the director. There's somebody on the soundboard. There's somebody on each camera, and it's just, you know, it takes a whole team to do that broadcast.
Now, you know the one that I would love to do, and I'm mad at myself because it's very expensive to do this. I've always wanted to live stream from an event, and then let's just say, Anthony, you're in Dallas or wherever you are located, and I'm at an event, and then I can patch in live on a red carpet. And I saved up my money. Don't beat me up. I actually paid for it for 1 year, and I just said, you know, it has to make sense for me to do this. And let me see if I can get this on the screen here. I went out and purchased a Live View Solo. And so my thing was, hey, you got the Live View Solo, and with the Live View Solo, you will be able to stream live. I can patch into Anthony's stream, and let's just say it's a New Year's Eve party, and he wanted to say, TallBoy is live in Atlanta. Let's go to TallBoy live. Or everyone sees it every day with the news. And they say, well, here, reporting live, we have Anthony Baracus on the scene at the Buc-ee's gas station, right?
Yeah, so, you got the Buc-ee's right, that's for sure.
Yep, so he's at the Buc-ee's gas station, and he can go, and then they patch in live, and it's probably a 5-second or 8-second delay, and then he can hear what's going down the line, and they can talk to each other, and he can report live. So that's all done through the power of a Live View Solo. I have it, but unfortunately, the internet costs so much. So you have to have multiple bonded internet is what they call it. You have to have bonded internet. So this is a history course, History 101 with TallBoy and Anthony tonight. So I wasn't trying to put you there, but people like me are like, I'm trying to get into live streaming, and this is a very informative video. Thank you so much for sharing these things. Because what was that again? So,
Yes, the live view solo is sort of like an industry standard at the broadcast level. And that production truck I was just telling you about when we did that parade, the camera who was at the other end of the parade at the very beginning, they were on a live view solo, and we were receiving it in the truck. And they had, I think, 4 different cellular modems on there, and that made sure that we had a reliable connection from one end of the parade to the other end of the parade. But all the cameras around us were on physical cables. But when you know, because the other thing is, you know, if you are at a live event and there are 5,000 people there, those 5,000 people are using the same cell towers as we are. We have no way of telling the cell tower, no, make sure we get through. Cell tower doesn't care.
You're right.
Yeah, cell tower doesn't care. And it's like, listen, you need to be able to rely on multiple cell connections at the same time so that you're more guaranteed that something is going to get through. And that's that live view. That live view.
Yeah, live view solo. Yes, correct.
Solo is a fantastic tool for making sure your signal does get through.
Yeah. So that's kind of, you know, live streaming 101 for the ones who are interested in live streaming.
Now the second thing, the thing what that necessarily leads to is people getting into this business. They're like, you know, I'm not going to start with my phone. I'm going to invest in some hardware or some software and everything, and I'm going to do this. Then the challenge is, how do I get paying clients? That is the biggest challenge because, as we've said, there's a lot of people out there who are going to take their cell phone and go, this is good enough. And we, as producers, we look at that and we cringe and we're like, please, let me do it. Let me do it for you so that your event looks better, so that it sounds better, so that, hey, you know, you can even put it behind a paywall and generate money from a remote audience. There's so many things that we can offer the paying client that it's like, you know, give us the opportunity, but of course then that person needs to have the budget to make it happen.
Correct. Well, the biggest thing that you have to do is you got to be a great salesman. You know, at the end of the day, you need to find out the needs of TallBoy, find out the needs of Anthony, and say, hey, you can do it this way, or you can do it with that way with, you know, with you can do it with us, or you can do it with the other people. And there's a phrase that I want to use, but I can't think of the phrase that I need right now. But it's like you get what you pay for, right? So that's probably the best thing or the best way to say it. You get what you pay for. If you want to do everything, you know what they say, you rapping and singing in all the videos, you can come over here. But if you want some quality live streaming production, come over here to Your Live Production or TallBoy Enterprises, and we got you, you know? So if you know that phrase of what I said, you'll know what I'm talking about. So if you want to be all in the videos, go over there with the cell phones. But if you want it done the right way, then you need to go find a service with, you know, myself or what Anthony is doing, and say, hey, this is how it's done. It's done the right way. And at the end of the day, we're going to be honest with you. You know, live streaming is real. Anything can happen in real time. So it's not like it's going to be perfect, but we aim and we strive to be subject matter experts, and we aim to strive to have a flawless execution. That's the biggest thing. We want a flawless execution because we don't want you saying, oh, it cut out at this time. We can't control the internet. No one can control the internet. But at the end of the day, if you want it done the right way, you need to find a streaming professional that prides themselves in doing this. And I mean, I don't know too many people that are out there that says, I solely want to work on live streaming. That's the way it is. So if you find somebody, you got to be a great salesman. So Number two, you have to find out those needs and say, hey, if you want it done this way, this is what we can do, this is what we can offer, and this is what it would look like. And then you tell me the platforms, and someone that can rattle off and give you an answer to whatever it is that you're looking for, their job should be able to make you feel comfortable saying that this is what it is. I just had a client the other day, and I know that this question is a run-on sentence, but I just had a client the other day that reached out to me, and they have seen my work in the past, and they were so nervous. And I was like, well, look, you can go live, you can go do it yourself, but do you really want to worry about making sure that you're hitting the right buttons, being behind the camera, being in front of the computer, making sure that the ticker tape, the ticker is rolling or scrolling, making sure that your flyer pops up at the same time, or, while you're having that conversation? Or do you want to just sit comfortably in front of the camera, talk to the person that you have as your guest, and know that you don't have to worry about it? I can literally produce everything for you, and you can just sit and relax on just focusing on interviewing the talent and letting yourself be the subject matter expert, and you know that you have a polished look. And I think after she thought about it, she said, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with you. And that's how it goes.
That is, I think, that is the best appeal that I've heard in a long time, because people try to sell it in terms of like reaching people and everything, but really it's sort of like, the people who bring us in are not technical streaming experts. And it's like, listen, you bring us in, let us handle all of this crazy technology so that you don't have to. You don't have to try and figure it out and learn it, because we've already dealt with so much of it and figured it out and had the problems and overcome things, and we know the contingencies, and just let us make it easy for you to do what you want to do, and we'll take care of all this stuff.
So the best, and this is a great segue to say, don't argue about the price. The price is the price. And I'm not trying to be funny. I don't want to be arrogant. I don't want to be a butthole when I say what I'm saying. But you're paying the technical director, the producer, you're paying that person for their expertise, and you're paying them for their knowledge, right? That's what you're paying for. You're paying to say, all right, when you go to a mechanic, do you go to the best mechanic? Do you go to the dealership, or do you go to the, to your cousin who thinks he can fix a car? You're going to go to the person that has solid service, they know their stuff, right? And you're going to say, I'm going to go to this person because they're great. They've done it over and over and over again, and they tell you this is the price and you got to pay it. So that's the best way to put it, and I hope I didn't offend anybody.
No, and I think people need to realize that, except for those people that are just starting out. And I get that there's this at the very beginning when you need to build up your skills and you need to build up like a demo reel and things like that. You can go out and do free gigs, find a local nonprofit and say, hey, I'll stream your charity, I'll, a parade, or, all these different things and everything. And you build up a reel, and you get a bunch of different, clips on YouTube and stuff like that. And you figure out your tools, and you get comfortable with your tools. But once you've got that, and, you are reliably delivering consistent results, like the Starbucks, it's a consistent delivery, and people can count on, oh, I saw your demo, I'm going to get the same thing. And when you get to that point, you can sit there and say, and this is what it costs. Well, why does it cost so much? It's like, because that's what it costs to do what I do.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the price is the price. And it's not like we're charging you an astronomical figure, but because you're not experienced in this field, you don't know what those numbers are. So unfortunately, you think, oh, I could just do this for free $99, or I could do this for $50. And it's like you have to factor in internet costs. You have to factor in, am I plugging in via Ethernet? You're factoring in how many guests are coming in. Are we testing? What kind of audio? So these are all things that, and there's much more, but that you have to factor in all of these things. And these are things that a novice or somebody that's starting out, that's saying, hey, I want to do a show. They don't think about all these things that come with it. Just understanding my client, understanding that they don't know and trying to be sympathetic with them, as opposed to saying the price is the price.
Yeah, there's definitely education that has to go through it, because you get some clients that are like, we know what we need, we know you can provide it, tell us what it costs, and then you get other ones that are not really fully understanding, like, well, I just want you to come and do a 1 hour thing. I only need to pay you for 1 hour. No, there's a whole lot of preparatory work that needs to be done, creating the event, working with you to build the graphics and everything. There's a whole lot of other work around that needs to come into play, and they need to be educated in it. And then, of course, but like you says, every market is different, and, there could be a market that is ready to go and is very into it, and there's competition, and the competition increases the prices. And there's another market that, we did an interview with a lady that's in Western Australia, and she's the only person there doing weddings, live streaming them. And it's just because the market there isn't to that point where they understand the value of it and they want it. So she's sort of like, she's filling the niche, but it's not really developed yet. So the market and where you are really does, play into what can be charged and how much education you need to go into to explain why things cost what they cost. Because, the gear costs money and the time costs money and everything, and all of that needs to be recouped, in addition to building a business and paying off debts and things like that. It's like, I remember the photographer, it's sort of like, they come up and they take this great sports picture and they're like, well, you just took one picture. How much does that cost? And it says, you're not paying me for the picture. You're paying me for the decades of work that took to make me able to take that picture.
Right. So it's really that person's expertise. I mean, and we can have this conversation if you want. If you don't, we don't have to go there. But I want people to think about what Anthony just said. You just called me and said, hey, I would love to have a live streaming 1 hour production. Right. And with that being said, you're saying, hey, how much would it cost to be able to do something like that? And I tell you, we're just throwing out a number, $700. And you're like, $700? Yeah, $700. Think about it. Am I coming to you? Are you coming to me? Is this remote? Is this live? Like, how is all of this going to set up? First off, what is the run of show going to look like? Have you even thought about a run of show? Number two, we have to have overlays. Do you want to just look like a regular person, or do you want to have like your custom colors with your boxes for your overlays? Do you want, ticker tape? Do you want it to look like a sports show? Do you want it to look like a talk show? Like, we have to build this out, right? Are you providing pictures? Are you providing video? It takes time to put all of that inside of the system. Then you have to think about, if I come to you, we have to test out internet. Do you have reliable internet at your house? And we're not just talking about regular internet, because people are like, yeah, I got internet. Well, there's a thing called upload and download speed. So as I would tell anybody, and a lot of people don't know this, but go to speedtest.net and find out what your upload speed is. And if your upload speed is not fast, well, we're not going to be streaming anywhere. But a lot of people don't know that, right? And because people don't know about speedtest.net, we have to, before we can even start and even have an initial conversation, we need to test your internet connection. And so at the end of the day, once we figure that out and we say we're going to have it at your location, my location, now we're talking about setup. So where are we going to set it up? What is the look going to look like? How many cameras are we speaking of? How many microphones are we speaking of?
How many people?
How many people? Right. So you have to factor all of that in. So whether you're just an individual or you're a corporation, or even if you're a nonprofit, all of this has to be factored in. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with going live on your phone. There's nothing wrong with going browser-based. But if you want to take it to the next level and do live streaming, then I highly recommend that you just, build that relationship with that producer or that that TD, and you build that relationship with them and make it, as smooth as possible, because they know their stuff. They've been watching YouTube videos. They've been licking their chops for a moment to be able to work with you. They just want you to value them for the work that they do, just like you want them to value you for the work that you do as the subject matter expert. They're the subject matter experts in their field to make you look good, and that's the way you have to look at it.
And that's literally my slogan. I don't have a mouse pad here, but it's like, we make you look awesome. That's literally the slogan of my company.
Right. That's really what it boils down to. Our job is to make you look good. And even though it's a thankless job, even though we're usually the ones that are not seen on the camera, someone had to make you look good. Someone had to make you look awesome. So next time you hire somebody or you choose to roll with somebody, make sure you shout them out and say, thanks to Anthony. Thanks to TallBoy. You made me look awesome.
All right, TallBoy. I think we have just basically given people interested in getting into streaming a whole ton of things to chew on for a little bit. If you had to boil it down to a nugget of wisdom, if you had to boil it down and say, this is the one thing, if you're starting out or if you're looking to get into streaming, this is the one thing that you need to put in front of you to keep moving forward.
As in the producer or as in the person that's trying to have a show?
The producer. It's like me and you as producers, and somebody wants to do what we're doing, and say, I want to be a live streaming producer.
Test. That's an inside joke, guys. If you're in the live streaming, anybody that's watching this that's in the live streaming, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Test. But no, in all honesty, that's a great question that you're asking me. Know that this is what you want to do. And you may be in a market that there may not be anybody there, but look and see if there's any social forums that you can join. Ask questions. This live streaming community is a community that is very welcoming to anybody that wants to learn. You might find a couple smart Alex in there every now and then, but for the most part, there are some people that truly, genuinely want to see you win, and they want you to be good at whatever it is that you do. You do not need to go out and buy all this hardware. Use what you have to get to where you're trying to go. If you see my studio right now, you'll be like, man, that's an awesome setup. But it did not happen overnight. It was bit by bit, piece by piece. And then over a course of time, it all came into fruition. I'm literally live streaming out of my home right now because my thing was, why go out and go get a building? Because now I have to pay that rent. And my thing is, I started, in my home, and I built a space in my home to say, this is what I want to do. And I recommend anybody to start small and work your way. Don't think that you have to have it all today. Make sure you start with the basics, but then as you grow, you will grow, if that makes sense.
Yes, as you go, you will grow. And I think that is a great nugget right there, is you don't need to have everything perfect. You don't need to buy a whole ton of gear and build the perfect studio. Start somewhere and as you go, you will grow. And as you grow, you will go. It works both ways, I think.
No, that's cool. I have a friend that wants to come onto your show. Is it okay? What's the name of your show?
It's Stream Tech Conversations.
Stream Tech Conversations. Now, look, guys. This did not happen overnight, what you're about to see. All right? But Anthony Baracus, am I saying this right?
Barocus.
Okay, Barocus. Stream Tech Conversations. Stand by. Let me get my friend TBJ, all right?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? My name is TBJ, and we're on Stream Tech Conversations with Anthony Barocus. Did I say it right? Anthony Barocus. This is me. I'm TallBoy's alter ego. Now, I normally like to say whatever I like to say, but I'm here, and I'm live in the flesh. And it's live, y'all. We live. You can hear me, right, Anthony?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. So, what made you want to start the Stream Tech Conversations?
The fact that I have only so much that I can give in terms of experience, and there are so many other fantastic professionals out there doing this work, I wanted to bring them in and have them be part of the conversation.
Uh-oh, I like that. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, well, my hand going behind my back and stuff like that. But if you like it, put your hands up and say, woo, 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 woo. You like that? See, Anthony wasn't ready for me. See, TallBoy just came in and gave you all the good stuff. And then I just come in and make everybody laugh. I got to make them laugh. But I got to go because TallBoy about to get mad at me, all right? So let me bring TallBoy back on the screen. But nice to meet you, Anthony. And hopefully you check me out on Wednesdays on the Lab Tech Show with TallBoy, all right? I got this segment that they call Word of the Day. I don't know if you ever heard of it or not, but me and my boy Revis, we be breaking down the Word of the Day, okay? So I think you might like that segment, but you gotta tap in with me. But I gotta go back to TallBoy. He about to get mad at me, all right? Hold on, let me get him back. Hold on.
Thank you.
That's my buddy TBJ right there, man.
That is awesome.
That's my buddy. So the power of live streaming, right? You can't do that on your phone. You can't do that on browser-based software, but you can do that, through the power of vMix. And if you're on Mac, you can do it with Ecamm. I'm not a Mac guy, but I'm team PC, I'm team Android. But, there's a thing called Ecamm out there. So if you guys are on Mac, don't feel discouraged and feel like you cannot live stream. And then, like I said, you can always go with OBS. So at the end of the day, hopefully you guys got some value out of what I had to say. And can I tell people where they can find me at and all that good old stuff?
Absolutely.
All right. So for live streaming purposes, if you would like, I'm going to give you a list of things. So grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, because I got a lot of stuff that I need to share with you. All right. So if you're into live streaming production, go to yourliveproduction.com. That's right. Yourliveproduction.com. No fancy words, just yourliveproduction.com. That's it. And you can see if you're interested into live streaming and you would like to work with me, feel free to come over there. All right. If you're in the Atlanta area, or if you want to fly me out and you need video production services, a commercial and all of that stuff, check out my work over at tallboy.us. That's right. Tallboy.us. No fancy stuff, just tallboy, BOY.us. And then lastly, I've taken on a personal mission to do a live tech show on Wednesday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, to where we simplify technology in a language that you can understand, all right? So basically, a lot of people don't understand technology. And anybody that's 40 plus, you're my audience, because we tend to say, I don't understand. Now, this ain't no boring show. You just saw TBJ on right there. So we try to make it fun. We try to make it interesting. We try to make you walk away being more knowledgeable, because tech is forever growing, right? So it's called the Lab Tech Show. It's live on YouTube, and we try to have the content up on Roku and Amazon at TBE Media. So if you are on Roku or Amazon, feel free to go over there. And and the website is labtechshow.com. So labtechshow.com, and then YouTube is the labtechshow.com. So it's a lot. I got to find a way to simplify all of that, but the goal is to make sure people walk away understanding that, hey, TallBoy is very versatile, so we can make it happen.
Well, again, thank you very much again. And, it's great speaking to someone else who's really out there to help educate other people and get them up to speed, because I think the more we all understand this technology, it's kind of a new language. This video streaming is now almost as commonplace as writing things on a word processor at this point. So I think everybody has the opportunity to learn it. There's a lot of us out there who are passing on the information, and it's great to have an opportunity to speak with you.
No, thank you so much for having me. And like I said, I wish you well with streaming tech. And I hope that people actually value these conversations, because we are really passionate about this. And the fact that you took the time to say, I'm going to create a safe space for people to say, I don't know what I'm doing. And you can hear from other professionals, whether they're as novice or as they're experienced. You just have to find your sweet spot. But the fact that you provided a platform to be able to give people that opportunity to kind of share their knowledge, I think that this will help the future live streaming producers, technical directors, or whatever role that you want to have. Or even if you're saying, I want to have a show, I now understand, the nooks and the crannies and I see why they do what they do. So thank you so much for providing that platform.
Thank you again to TallBoy and his compatriot Revis, who I didn't expect, but was definitely a fun little moment there. It's definitely also technology that I need to look into, making it clear that there's always something to learn. My name is Anthony Barocas for Stream Tech. Thanks for watching.